Welcome back to Fourth and Wrong. Today is September 4th, and we enter week 2 of the 2024 college football season. I'm Tyler Huck. As with me as always, Chris Marler. Chris, some big games this week. Some really good games. I'm excited about them. Second day in a row we're streaming live. Second day in a row we're recording the pod. We should be
homework.
After this week, we should be back to the normal Wednesday, Sunday. It's just a little different with games on Sunday and Monday. So,
it's wild that it's already Thursday. This is coming out on Thursday. So,
yeah, quick week, but a lot of good games to get to. Some best bets potentially. Have you been perusing the board?
No, I do have this. This is something I sought out early in the week, and there are some of my best bets that we've had since the season, since we've been previewing shit from the summer. There's some of my best bets in here. Man, I just think there's some really good spots here. We can get. What's up, guys? What's up, Wesley Williams? What's up, Evan Grimes? What's up, William Gray? What's up, Mitchell? I had somebody reach out and gave us a wellness check today, Tyler. It almost looks like we're in the same room with the blinds.
Yeah, it does kind of look like that. Wellness check on me.
No, on me.
Really?
I think everyone's always pretty assuming that you're emotionally stable. Not me, though. Not me, brother. On TVD, who's TVD?
Tyler Van Dyke.
Oh, that was tough.
Still bad.
So let's get into some news first, and then I'll talk about some of our I think some of the best bet stuff that we have coming up. News real quick. One, shout out to Evan Grimes because he reached out to Booby Feaster last night.
That's right. We got the answer. It was indeed from Friday Night Lights.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Dad was a big fan, which I'm pretty sure his dad's probably our age.
Ladies and gentlemen, we grabbed him.
Who, Booby?
Booby Feaster.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Nice.
I laughed.
We both got DMs from Evan, pretty much right after the show with an immediate response from old Booby.
Yeah.
So shout out to Evan. Do you see DJ Lagway is now the starting quarterback in Florida, at least for this week?
So as someone who has been covering SEC football for LouisianaSports.net, go check out the website. Please, God, check out the website. Dude, I'm writing a bunch on this website. I like my writing style. I know it's not for everybody, but it's just getting buried down at the page. So you guys go get those views up. But I wrote about this yesterday because Graham Mertz is in concussion protocol, apparently going into this week. So DJ Lagway era, I don't know how long he'll start. It does have the at least surface level appearance of, dude, what if he's the starter and just never gives it back?
Well, it's certainly a convenient excuse to try something different to save your job.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure he did get hit pretty hard, Mertz, but, who knows if he's actually concussed. We'll see.
I'm going to ask you a question that may be dumb. Is there not a college football game on tomorrow?
My guess is no, just because it's the opener of the NFL.
Which was my follow-up question. So there is there's not. You got BYU and SMU on Friday night, Duke and Northwestern. Those two should play every year.
Do you know that there's an NFL game on Friday this year?
Yeah, Eagles are playing.
Yeah.
Birds.
Chiefs Ravens first game. Well, that's a great first game.
Tomorrow night?
Yeah, tomorrow night.
Oh.
And then who do the Eagles play? It's Packers. Another good game.
Is it in fucking South Sudan or something stupid? It's in Brazil. Okay, fair enough.
It is in Brazil. It's also on Peacock. So if you don't have Peacock,
listen, here's the thing. I don't give a shit about having to get all these different platforms. I am dumb enough with my finances that I will sign up for everything. I paid $20 today to watch a movie that apparently was on Paramount for free, and it was awful. It was a silent place or a quiet place.
Silent film?
It was a silent film. It was just me scrolling Twitter for 3 hours. I wanted to sound very fancy.
Yeah.
I've been into silent films lately. You can tell this fucking French ass mustache this guy from Great Clips gave me. I look like a black uncle. It looks ridiculous. So here's the thing. I had no problem with signing up for fucking Peacock or Paramount, Apple TV, in any of those. I will do it. I will do it if it means I get to watch football. I will forget to cancel the membership and the subscription every single time. Totally get it. Like I am your demographic. You know what really fucking pisses me off? If you want, just make the game $7 to watch. Because what pisses me, and I would still pay for that. What pisses me off is I'm watching the game, and now I have to get out of an app into another app if I want to switch back and forth the games. That's what annoys the shit out of me.
That's a fair point. Although on Friday, I don't know what other games you'd be switching to.
College football.
Who'd you say was playing?
BYU and SMU?
Yeah, that's actually a decent game. Maybe
in general, like I don't want to watch the commercials. Or I mean, I'm not gonna be allowed to switch it to anything because Allie's an Eagles fan, so we'll be watching the Birds, Bird Gang, fucking Bird Gang,
Bird Gang. She's an Eagles fan and an Auburn fan,
and a Tampa Bay Lightning fan.
Wow,
she's awful.
Yeah, she sounds like it.
We've got to break up.
I mean, if you need my help, brother, I'm here.
You know what this podcast needs is another excruciating breakup mid-season.
It sets off the good vibes for the show.
I'm gonna wait to move in first before I do it. That's my calling card.
Yeah, that's a good. Well, yeah, makes it more excruciating.
Yeah,
when it ultimately ends. Okay, well, do you want to get to the games of the week, or do you have some bets that you want to talk about? Some games. I'll tell you a game I'm interested in. We're not necessarily breaking it down. Oregon, Boise State.
Oh, that is interesting. I like that.
Did you see what Ashton Giante of Boise State did last week against Georgia Southern? 6 touchdowns.
Oh, the running back?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had like 270 or 280 yards, right? Like he had multiple touchdown runs of 75 yards or more.
Yeah. He's a beast. Oregon obviously didn't look great week 1. So that could be an interesting game. I'm interested to see. Let's see. Who else? What about USF Alabama?
I am very interested in that game.
A little revenge spot.
I'll be honest. Dude,
Georgia,
first and foremost, Krista is reminding me too that John Emery, LSU's running back, who has been a former 5-star, been there since 2019, redshirted in 2019. I don't think he played much in 2020. 2021, I believe it's 2021 or 2022. He had an issue academically that wasn't his fault. It was just his fucking dumbass advisor screwed him over. And then then he tears ACL late last year against Florida, comes back, is the best running back they have in the first game of the year. Tears his ACL at practice today. It just sucks, man. I hate it for that kid. It's a tough day. It just was a shit day in general, I feel like, with that. Now, back to the bets. I do think that the Boise State game is something I'm interested in. We'll kind of peruse the board here, looking at I'm not interested in Duke Northwestern. I like Northwestern at -2.5. We have another day where you have good football on all day, Tyler, at least for me, because I am very interested in those first 2 games, Texas and Michigan and Arkansas and Oklahoma State. I get to watch one of those and watch hey, what does Taylor Green have? Here's the thing about Oklahoma State and Arkansas. This game is at home for Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State was only like an 8.5-point favorite over South Dakota State a week ago. And they're a 7.5-point favorite against Arkansas. Something's off.
So South Dakota State was on a 29-game win streak, 2 straight national championships, FCS for sure, but definitely the best FCS squad. I think a lot of the lines are a little screwed up week 1 because you don't know what teams are. That being said, didn't really know that Oklahoma or that Arkansas could put up 70 points. Taylor Green looks really good. He only played a half, and they still put up 70, but he had 4 total touchdowns in the game.
Yeah.
10 touchdowns on 10 possessions for Arkansas under Bobby Petrino.
First time in 20 years an FBS team has done that in their first 10 possessions of a season. 687 yards of offense, 3rd most in program history. First time they scored 70 in a very long time. I'm very interested in that game. Now, here's the thing, Tyler. Is the defense going to be able to stop Olive Garden? Because there are Olive Garden.
Olive Garden. Come for the unlimited breadsticks, boy. Olive Garden.
Thanks, Wesley Williams. Okay, we'll get into this game and we'll cover it more. Obviously, this part of the show is going to be for games that we're not going to cover as much. Dude, Georgia Tech at Syracuse is kind of interesting to me. That's a 2.5-point spread. I'm going to be interested in that one because of Georgia Tech. Scrolling through, I have zero desire to do Iowa State. And I'll be honest with you, Tyler, you fucking tried to make me make a little thing up here, and I didn't even do that. I've resisted. 3:30, Cal Auburn.
You're not interested in the Cy-Hawk Trophy, dog?
I don't give a shit about anything that happens in Iowa. Ever since I stopped watching Field of Dreams, I stopped. Well, the wave is cool. All right, Dick. All right, yeah.
It's at Kinnick Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'll do the wave.
2.5-point spread.
2.5-point spread. Real quick on this game, total's 35. Last year was 34.5, and they went under.
Yeah.
Iowa looked half competent. Granted, they played Illinois State last week, but Cade McNamara, 3 touchdowns. Matt Campbell's just 1-6 against Iowa since he's been at Iowa State. And last 19 games against Iowa State game, 17-2 to the under.
That is unreal, dude.
Including 5 straight.
The over-under is 35.
Yeah. So I'm going under. I'm going to go
of like, what's like, was it a Geico commercial? Like betting on Iowa feels very much like, got $1, got your $1. Oh, too slow. Like that.
This week might be the week that they go over 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Dude,
but I don't have them going over 3 touchdowns, Chris. I do have them winning and covering the game, but I've got Iowa 20, Iowa State 13. Little under for that ass.
A little under for that ass. I don't know if you could say that. Hold on, I gotta see this. Hold on. What is the team total for each team? It cannot be over 20 for either of them. It is the team total for for Iowa, who's favored to win, is 18.5.
Yeah.
Dude, and you know 19's in play.
19 is definitely in play with these 2 teams. Both of them.
It's 16.5 for Iowa State. This bro, like it's crazy that Vegas is actually telling us, hey, 19-17 is potentially the score. Iowa State covers, the over hits. That's insane. Okay. I'm going to keep going here. I tell you what, this is going to be one of my best bets. Auburn covering 13. Auburn over 13 over a Cal team that sucks. They do have Jaden Ott, who I think is the most underrated running back in the country. I'll look at the first half here as well. Auburn 6.5 in the first half. Fucking hammer time. Let's go. I'm all over it.
What about the always
watched last year? But I love that one.
What about the always entertaining South Carolina Kentucky game?
I got it. I haven't done anything this week for South Carolina. We got to do something. This is going to be a tough one.
Kentucky's -10. They didn't allow a point last week against Southern Miss. South Carolina escaped a loss to Old Dominion.
Yeah.
Brock Vandegrift looked pretty good. Kentucky -10.
Let's see.
If I remember correctly, doesn't that series always have? Doesn't the road team, or is that A&M in Kentucky or A&M? One of these games, SEC games.
The A&M South Carolina rivalry has a trophy involved. Okay. It has a tradition of South Carolina losing every year. They're 1-9 their last whatever. South Carolina's won the last 2 against Kentucky. They've won the last 2, I think, by combined 13 points. It was like 24-14, 17-14. Before that, they lost 7 of 8. It is so. As we get closer to the game, I'm leaning back towards like, all right, listen, like maybe last week was a fluke. You got to fucking figure it out. Like, but I just had this bad feeling that Dowell Loggins is not any good as an OC for South Carolina. So I'm not going to touch that game. But I like, and here's the thing too. South Carolina's defense is. I'll give you the stat of the day for this game. Okay, South Carolina's defense forced 4 turnovers last week. That gives them 67 total turnovers, or 66 total turnovers, dating back to the start of the 2021 season. That's the most in the SEC of any team. Kentucky starting quarterbacks coming into this year had a combined 35 interceptions over the last 3 years. It's Will Levis and Devin Leary. In like the first quarter of this game, Brock Vandagriff threw an interception as well. So it's 36 total in the same time period. If South Carolina can force some turnovers like they have always, like South Carolina had I want to say it was like double-digit red zone turnovers a year ago that they were able to force. Like they are and there's only second in the conference too. It was really impressive. If they can turn Kentucky over and get this into like a fucking like slop fest, I think they have a chance to win.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think Beamer's going to last this season. I think this is the first game they lose, and then they just kind of tail off, and we see Beamer off into the sunset. But I could be wrong. I mean, I tried to watch the Kentucky Southern Miss game because Florida State's old quarterback transferred to Southern Miss, and it was like in like a 3-hour lightning delay.
Yeah,
and then I turned it on, and the guy had already thrown 2 picks. Which
I'm looking through the rest of this. I'm excited about the Bama game. We're obviously going to break down Tennessee, NC State, Colorado, Nebraska is one I'm excited about.
Yeah.
Other than that, dude, I don't.
Not a great slate out of the games we're covering.
No, Mississippi State, Arizona State is interesting. Arizona State being a 6.5-point favorite seems a little bit high. How about this? Oregon State's a 6-point favorite, only a 6-point favorite at San Diego State.
It's weird. I'm interested to just see what that Clemson App State game looks like.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
It's a 17-point spread, so but I want to know what Clemson looks like against not Georgia.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think that, dude, Arizona, by the way, there was 2 things we forgot to mention in our last pod. One, maybe I did mention McMillan of Arizona, but was absolute monster. Dude. Noah Fafita and him are electric to watch. I'm so glad that there's not Pac-12 After Dark. I coined it T-Hug After Dark, where I just tweet about really late games.
Yeah, I like that.
But Arizona's going to be one of those fun West Coast teams to watch because that is a really fun duo there. And we didn't even mention that Vandy beat Virginia Tech.
We didn't?
No.
Diego Pavia was the conference player of the week. So
Diego.
Yeah.
Okay. Always go over on the win total on Vandy.
I've been saying it. You've been saying it. We do it every single year. 2.5 was free money. Let's get into this week's games, and I want to start with this one right off the bat.
Gonna be a good one, maybe. We'll see.
No.
Yeah, we're going up to Ann Arbor, Michigan. It is a big one. Number 3 Texas at number 10 Michigan. This is the 12 p.m. big noon game on Fox. Michigan currently a 7.5-point underdog at home. Total 42.5. Jeff, you got to pay extra for the OnlyFans version.
Maybe.
Yeah. Sub up, like and subscribe. Last week, tale of 2 different teams, I would say. Fresno State gave Michigan all it could handle. Michigan was close pretty much all game. Will Johnson had an 86-yard interception. So basically, Fresno State was about to score. And Texas won 52-0 against Colorado State. So a little bit different games. I was surprised to see that the only previous meeting between these 2 teams was 2005.
In the Rose Bowl?
In the Rose Bowl, correct. Yeah, Texas won 38-37. Let's see. Sarkisian was quick to point out that Michigan is 41-3 in their last 44 games.
They've won. Where we got that graphic or that stat from, huh?
Won 16 in a row, 23 straight home games with a win. So this is uncharted territories for the last couple of years for Michigan to be an underdog at home. Michigan's front 7 really good again this year. Had 3 sacks in the first game. Their quarterback is a former walk-on, Davis Warren.
Yeah,
wasn't necessarily great last week. He was 15 of 25 for 118 yards and a touchdown against Fresno. Orji played a little bit as well. He had mostly carried the ball 5 times for 32 yards, threw a touchdown pass though. Seems like their number 1 target's their tight end, who's a beast, Colston Loveland. He had 8 catches last week. Donovan Edwards they're going to need more out of him in this game. He had 11 carries, 27 yards.
Oh, well, yeah, but Fresno State's a really good defense. That's what they're known for.
Right.
That and like being like the meth capital of California. That's what Fresno's known for.
I didn't know that.
It's like it's a very, very high concentrated drug situation. I almost moved there. You know what I mean?
Dude, you're so cool.
Ollie Garden.
Ollie Garden. What do you think happens in this game? Do you think Texas kind of blows the door off? Do you think it's a close game? Is this the hook might kill you in this game? 7.5. What are you thinking?
The hook might bring you back, for one. I want Michigan fans to gather around and hear what Uncle Chris is about to say. And I want you to gather around very close. Taylor Lewan, I'm talking to you. I have never seen a group of more. They are almost. Oh, we doing this? Okay,
we're going solo.
They are like if Auburn was atheist, that's Michigan. They are the fucking most pious Michigan, man. Oh, we like propping up their academics and they have been living off of a fucking dead carcass, a shell of a program that they had before last year's national championship. They had a half a national championship. That was it since 1948 going into last year. They have been a joke of a program for a long time, and they finally did the right thing and started cheating, just like Jim Harbaugh said he was so opposed to doing, and how it was so difficult to keep up with the cheaters in the Southeast and blah, 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 blah. They finally started cheating, and they finally started winning. I want to point out once again, 49-26 before Connor Stallions, 40-3 with them. And you post that simple graphic on social media, just saying that, like it's a factual statement and factual numbers. There's a lot of things you can be on social media. You can be an influencer. You can be a TikTok dancer. You can be a fucking loser. Don't choose to be the third one, especially if it means you're getting mad about factual numbers. If you find yourself getting mad about statistics, maybe it's time to go outside and take a walk, touch some grass, maybe both. Michigan fans are so fucking annoying, and they have spent this entire offseason trying to pretend like this is going to be the new normal. It's not. It's not. By the way, let's be very clear about something. The biggest feather in your cap, if you're Michigan, is that you beat Ohio State for 3 years in a row. I got news for you. I know you won the national championship last year, but that team that is the biggest point of pride for your whole fucking program, everyone down here beats them. Everyone down here beats them. Ohio State has 2 total wins against the SEC in the last 30 plus fucking years. Michigan lost 13 players in the NFL draft. They lost 5 assistant coaches. They lost a top 15 overall NFL draft pick at quarterback. And then they replace all that, which they haven't had to lose that at any time recently at all, right? Like they haven't had to replace anything close to that in decades. And then they replace it with a recruiting class and a roster that is roughly like 15th to 16th overall over the last 4 to 5 years in terms of talent composite and recruiting rankings. They're not a great program. How do you win a fucking national championship and then come off with the following offseason with a 16th ranked recruiting class? Texas is going to go up there, and it might be a slow start. It might take a minute, trying to get things going. If Michigan scores early, mark my fucking words, it'll be on a trick play. It'll be on a reverse pass or a flea flicker or some dumb shit like that, because they know just as well as everyone else that for 60 minutes, they are not going to be able to line up and play with somebody like Texas. They don't have the speed. They don't have the athletes. They don't have the physicality. And I tell you what they don't have more than any of that is the fucking mental fortitude to get through 60 minutes without making excuses. That's all I've seen them do. Taylor Lewan is 6'7", 300-something pounds, and this bitch called me a soy boy because I brought up factual numbers. Tyler, how much of a mental midget do you have to be 6'7", and talking shit like that because you saw numbers on the internet that hurt you? It is the entire fan base is so fucking lame.
I missed that.
2 weeks ago. These soy boys are all mad about the Connor Stallions thing. Yeah, because you cheated. And honestly, we don't care. Just admit that you cheated. It's whatever. Everyone does it to an extent. They don't do it like that. And it's clear to see how much of a difference it has made. And I love that Krista just brought this up. It's cold up there, man. It's cold. You don't see these Southern teams go up there and play in the cold. It's fucking September 7th when they play this game. September 7th. It's going to be like 80 or 90 degrees. And the last thing I'll say about Michigan, do you know why I hate Michigan the most more than anything? Because outside of Annie Agar, they haven't produced anything of fucking like relevance in the last 10 years. And also, the whole state is just Alabama in the shape of a mitten. It is white trash. It's fucking Bob Seger and Kid Rock. Fuck Michigan. Fuck Michigan. And I hope Texas beats the brakes off of them, and they will.
So what's your prediction? Final score?
Texas 31-13.
Okay. All right. I got a closer game. I got a lower scoring game. 28-20 Texas. They do cover barely. And what's the total? 42.5. So I do have it going over, but I think it'll be a lower scoring game. Somewhat.
Did you see the Michigan podcast that came out today that went viral of the guy saying Texas wouldn't score 10 points?
That seems just like a dumb thing to say.
Buddy, Fresno State scored 10 points. Like, what are you talking about? Like, just fucking learn ball, man.
Watch film, bro, like us.
Watch film, bro. Be Brooks Austin, bro.
All right, where do you want to go next? Ooh, big one.
Right?
Saturday, 7:30 on ABC. Number 14, Tennessee versus number 24, NC State in Charlotte, North Carolina, Bank of America Stadium. NC State currently an 8-point underdog. Total 61. Lego.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about Tennessee in the last pod. They obviously look very good on offense. Defense is improved. Someone in the chat, probably Wesley Williams, wanted us to say that their running back is the best one in the SEC.
Jalen Simpson?
Yep. I don't know if that's the case, but he's definitely damn good. I think he had the highest overall PFF rating out of any running back in week 1. NC State looked like garbage against Western Carolina, if we're being frank.
Yeah.
So is the 8-point spread too little?
I don't know, because it's I don't think it is. I would love to know what the split is ticket-wise, because I think Tennessee fans are in this time period where it's like they know what's coming. The rest of the country does not want to admit it yet, but they know what's coming. And Tennessee is about to go back into their heyday. And I think that games like this, when you get to go on the road and see your team on a national stage like this, I think it'll be interesting to see what the split is, because I know it's in NC State's backyard, right? Like it's in their home state, whatever. 8 points feels interesting because Vegas might know something, and it's also a defensive, focused team with Dave Doran, right? I think that like they play at least a brand of football that is a little bit more physical than a lot of ACC teams. They are a tough out. Now you know this better than me. NC State don't they have some weird stat that's like they don't have like they don't have like a 10-win season ever?
Is that them? That does sound right, but at the fear of since 2019 they don't have a 10-win season. So
yeah, no shit, Tyler. They had an 11-win season in 2002 with Chuck Amato. And that's it. I don't think he was there then.
Phillip Rivers, Torrey Holt, I believe.
No, Torrey Holt was in the 80s.
No.
We don't need to argue about this. Mainly because
Torrey Holt was definitely not in the 80s.
It is Phillip Rivers. No, I said 90s. You're right. It is. Well, Terrence Holt. That's a defensive player. It doesn't matter. We're going to get off track like we always do. Here's the thing. I think Tennessee is one of the better teams in the country. 70-30 Tennessee, Jerry Gibson says. I think Tennessee is one of the better teams in the country. I still say, dude, they could lose to Bama and Georgia, and I don't think they will, but they could lose both those games and still get into the playoff, especially if it's competitive. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and they get Bama at home. I just think this team is – I don't care who they were playing last week. They could have been playing against Air. The efficiency they had on offense, and they could have scored way more than they even did, right? I mean, like Nico is the truth, and I think he might have his first real action as a starter. Be like, we'll see what he looks like against an FBS team or a Power 4 team and all that kind of stuff. But here's the deal: people keep saying that. And like waiting for this kid to fall on his face, even though it's only his third game as a starter. Let's not forget that he went up against a really, really good Iowa team a year ago, and they beat him 35-0. I think Grayson McCall is going to have to be very, very good for them. I just think Tennessee has too many weapons, man. Tennessee is a sleeping giant that I think has already been awakened. it's just waiting for the rest of the country to catch up and see what they become.
Well, this is the primetime game, so this is their chance. Typically, when I see a line like this, that gives me pause. I'm tempted to take the team that you wouldn't expect to cover, just because it doesn't make much sense to me. NC State, look, they had Western Carolina last week. They have Louisiana Tech next week, so there's a chance that they kind of didn't show much last week, and maybe were a little basic in their game plan against Western Carolina to hide things from Tennessee. But at the same token, Tennessee went out and played an FCS team as well and put up, what was it, 59 points?
Yeah.
So
I guess
I just think I agree. I think there's gonna be more Tennessee fans. It's a much larger fan base. And I think this
far of a drive either, right?
It can't be too far. Yeah, I just think this is Tennessee's coming out party, national television, night game. They have a chance to prove a point. I think they will. If this was at NC State, it'd be different. NC State's kind of a sneaky place to play. But I think Tennessee wins by double digits. Maybe 14 points, 34-20, something like that.
I like that. I mean, the total is what again? You said it's 61, so that would be low for that.
Yeah.
I just think that there's still so much of this team that we haven't even seen yet. I tell you what, first score of the game, team to score first, take Tennessee, because that's got to be pretty good odds for this one. I'm trying to find it right now. Longest touchdown winning margin. I'll look it up and find it. Or if you see it, let me know. But team to score first, I would take Tennessee in a heartbeat. I'm trying to find Nico passing props real quick. 250 yards passing. Oh my God. Nico over 2 touchdowns is minus 285. So looks like Vegas has already caught up to this.
Yeah.
That's tough.
It's pretty heavy juice there.
Dylan Sampson, his yardage is at 70 yards. I do kind of like that. It might be some tough sledding, but he is going to get a bulk of the work there. I don't know, man. I would take Tennessee to score first. I haven't updated this, and I probably need to at some point. But I said this last year, in the 32 career games under Josh Heupel going into last season, Tennessee scored first in 27 of them. So that is a very good system play of Tennessee scoring first in this game. So I agree with you. I think Tennessee does win. It's only a 4-hour drive to Charlotte. It's the same distance from Knoxville to Nashville it is from Knoxville to Charlotte. I don't know if Jerry Gibson is how accurate he is with the 70-30 thing, but I'll trust him because he seems like a very trustworthy guy. Tell me one Jerry that's untrustworthy, huh? Don't do that. Never mind.
Yeah, Jerry Rice threatened to beat up a guy when I was out in Tahoe at the golf course for bringing up that the 49ers can't beat the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah. No offense to Jerry, but maybe Jerry's not a very trustworthy name.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm taking Tennessee. I will take them to cover with like the most hesitation, just because it feels weird to me this game hasn't moved off of 8, considering what we saw from last week to this week. So I do like Tennessee to win. I'll say Tennessee 20. Well, I'll say Tennessee 30-21.
Okay, so they cover.
Yeah,
barely.
Barely.
Let's get to another game that I think will be really exciting. This one will be exciting as well, but I was actually thinking of another one. Okay, back to this one. Saturday, 7:30 on NBC. Colorado at Nebraska, Memorial Stadium, Lincoln. Nebraska, a 7-point favorite. Yeah, all right, sweet. Total 59. Colorado goes on the road for the first time this year. Colorado attempting for its 4th win in a row over Nebraska, which would be the most all time in the series. As we noted, this is a pretty big rivalry historically. In Nebraska's first game, we kind of talked about the Colorado North Dakota State game last week. You kind of saw some of the same stuff that you saw from Colorado last year.
Yeah.
Like not great on defense. Travis Hunter playing over 120 snaps, being a beast. Offense looked pretty good, but still gave up sacks. We didn't talk much about Nebraska, but obviously Dylan Raiola, big time recruit for them. They got him to flip Georgia. He looked pretty good. He played in the first half, and I think the first series of the second half looked pretty good. I mean, granted it was UTEP, but Nebraska scored over 40 points for the first time in a game since 2021.
That's
So big
insane.
for them. They used 108 players in the game against UTEP. So they emptied the bench. What I did not know is that Isaiah Nayor from Texas, he was supposed to be a big time transfer from Wyoming last year, and then he tore his ACL in the first game.
Oh,
Um,
wait, the kid that
he-
went to Texas? Or
yeah, he
yeah.
transferred to Nebraska.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he averaged 21 yards per catch at Wyoming in 2022.
Yeah, he was legit. He was like a lot of people thought he was one of the best what do you call it in the transfer guys in the entire portal class a year ago.
Yeah, and he didn't play for Texas last year because he tore his ACL. So should be interesting to see if him and Rayola could connect up. I'm tempted to look at the over in this game. I know it's high, 59, but I got a feeling Colorado is going to keep going. I mean, it wasn't just Travis Hunter last week. Jimmy Horn actually led the team in receptions, and I felt like he was wide ass open every time Colorado was on offense. I don't know if Colorado even attempts to run the ball. I mean, dude, last year they were by far the most pass heavy team in the country. They were like that in week 1. No surprise considering coach's son is the quarterback, but I don't know if they really need to have a run game.
No.
I think Nebraska, I don't know if they're quite there yet on defense. Offense is getting better. Defense for Colorado is not great. So I do like the over in this game. What do you think on the spread? Nebraska
so
minus 7.
7.5 feels a little bit odd because it makes me feel like people are hate watching Colorado. So the money, I would love to know what the money is in comparison from like total bets and sharp bets or whatever. Dude, I just feel like Nebraska is a more physical and more sound football team. I don't trust Colorado to go out. Let's look up the stats real quick. To go out on the road, especially in an environment like this. This is a night game in Lincoln, dude. Like let me tell you how big of a game this is. I talked to Trey Wallace, who works for Outkick, and a couple of the guys I think that are like in national media. And there's multiple guys that are passing up going to Texas and Michigan to go to this game. It's 2 unranked teams, but it's a really, really good old school helmet game, logo game, whatever you want to call it, like a Big 8 rivalry from the 90s. Like just fucking nostalgia everywhere, right? Like give me a fucking black running back or receiver with a mid-drift jersey that is outrunning everybody in the field from Colorado, and give me some fucking white fullback with a T-bar or whatever it's called down the middle with also a mid-drift. Give me mid-drifts is what I'm talking about, brother. Give me the mid-drift bowl.
You got the neck roll
and the neck roll. Like this is like the best. I feel like the best athletes in the world were always at Colorado in like the 90s, and then the toughest dudes in like the country were at Nebraska in the 90s. Like it just. I'm so excited for this game because I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think it's a good for college football game. So it's like, you know, if whoever wins, I think it'll be good for college football. This game in general, Nebraska, I just feel like I think they have a better coach. I think they're at home. I don't know about the spread. The hook in this one scares me way more than Texas. So I'm going to take Nebraska to win. I don't know if they'll cover. I love what you said about the over. I'm looking up one thing real quick. This is from last season, and it's the offense that Colorado had on the road versus at home. In home games a season ago, they averaged 35.5 points per game. In road games, they averaged less than 21. I don't think this is a program that travels well or like the way that they go about their business travels well. So I'm going to take Nebraska. I'm going to take them to win by 7. But I do think that I do think Colorado will put up some points because, dude, like they are fucking NBA Jam come to life, and I love it. Like Travis Hunter, Shitter Sanders, like go out there, have a blast, cut it the fuck loose, and let's have a great game. I got Nebraska winning. I'll say 35-31.
Yeah, I was going to do something similar. I think Colorado will cover in this game. I'm not willing to give Nebraska over a touchdown in any game yet. I mean, they played UTEP last week. Like I'm pretty sure North Dakota State's better than UTEP. So let's take everything that happened last week with a grain of salt. Although I will say, 40 points for the first time since 2021 is impressive.
Yeah.
But I think Nebraska, Memorial Stadium, Tom Osborne Field, gonna be rocking. Dude, night game, they pack that stadium out. What else are you gonna do in Nebraska? But yeah, I was gonna go like 35-33, something crazy like that, where it's like I think it'll be a very good game to the very end. And I'm interested to see, I'll be honest, Chris, I didn't really tune into Nebraska's game against UTEP. So I do want to see Dylan Raiola, not just the highlights, but just see how he manages the game. Should be a decent defense for him to try to tear up. So excited to watch that game for sure.
Yes, agreed.
All right. Let's see. We got one more game here that we're covering.
Yes, we do.
And that game is Arkansas at number 16, Oklahoma State. This is a noon game on ABC in Boone Pickens Stadium, Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Hell yeah, brother.
Oklahoma State. We got another hook here, Chris. 7.5 for Oklahoma State. Total 62.5. We already talked a little bit about this game, but Arkansas obviously looked very good on offense against a very pedestrian level FCS school in Arkansas, Pine Bluff. But still, 10 touchdowns on 10 possessions is impressive no matter who you're playing, especially in the first game of the season. Oklahoma State, at first glance, you see they played South Dakota State. You're like, okay, great. I think they won like 44-20 against South Dakota State, but two-time defending FCS national champion, 29 straight games they won. So I think that game's a little bit more impressive than a lot of people want to give Oklahoma State. Ollie Gordon obviously is the big name on Oklahoma State. You got Alan Bowman at quarterback. Taylon Green looked really good last week, both throwing and running. I think he had 88 yards rushing. So road game, I think Stillwater's going to get a little crazy, even though it's noon. 11 a.m. over there.
Yeah.
I think they'll be ready and jacked up for that game. Oklahoma State's one of the best teams in the Big 12 this year, I think. What do you see happening in this game?
I'm so excited for this one, dude. I just think this is going to be a really, like, what's the opposite of hate watch? Evan, tell me what that is.
Love watch?
What?
Love watch?
Yeah, I guess so. I am so excited for this game because I feel like it's a game that if Pittman can win this game, all the negative talk, even if they don't get to 6 wins, dude, all the negative talk is like, hey, this guy went out and made the right decision in his hiring and went out and got the right offensive coordinator. Like, and I tell you what, I was talking to John Neighbors about this the other day from our Cuck Watch. I don't know if that's what we should call it at all.
No, yeah, I don't think Cuck Watch is going to be.
What is wrong with the internet now? Like, you just can't do anything without it being something. But no, I think that from what he said, there's not a ton of concern as of right now with the NIL or with Petrino going to be a head coach because he doesn't want to deal with the NIL shit. And I don't know how accurate that is. It might have just been something from what John said. And I think that Oklahoma State should be better than people think. Like, I think you're onto something. They seem to be, one of the teams that will compete for a Big 12 championship. And they seem to be the one that's like, should be getting a lot more recognition because they have the best player in the fucking conference, right?
Yeah.
But all we've heard all offseason is Kansas State, Utah, and that's it. And so it's odd to me because they returned the best player. You can argue the best player in the country if you want to. I wouldn't join in on the argument because I got better things to do. But
10 starters back on offense for Oklahoma State.
Right. So I do think this is a more high scoring. I wonder what it looks like because Arkansas's defense. I know they pitched a shutout last week, but that's a defense that got torched a lot last year. Oklahoma State has never been a team that's been really known for their defense. I'm excited to see this one. I want Sam Pittman to get this win because I want to see him stick around in Arkansas. Now, that being said, I want to be like my heart is telling me Arkansas just because of what I want to see happen. My head is telling me to take Oklahoma State. I'm going to take Oklahoma State to win. I wouldn't bet on the spread at all. The 7 and a hook is concerning. The over does entice me a lot at 63. I'll tell you another thing too. If I was doing if I was doing a parlay this weekend, just a strict money line parlay, it'd probably be about like plus 100. Like, you probably just break even. But a 3-team parlay of Oklahoma State, Texas, and then Tennessee, all touchdown favorites. I know that two of those are two of the three are on the road. I think that could be good as well. But I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take Oklahoma State to win straight up. I'll take Arkansas to cover in a close game that I think is probably around 38-34 type situation, or 38-31.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think I'm going to touch the spread. I just feel like I don't really know exactly what Arkansas is. I mean, clearly they at least have some weapons. I mean, even though it was Pine Bluff, it's not easy to just put up 70 points. But I do think Oklahoma State wins this game. I also like the over. Let's say Arkansas covers the game. Well, they keep it close, within 4 points. But
Yeah.
I'll take Oklahoma State to win the game. I think we're at the point in the season still where we're trying to feel out, because there were so many teams last week that played FCS schools. It's really tough to get a gauge on what a team is. It's kind of almost like walking back into week one and just trying to lay down on the spread. It's just tough to do. But I think we know that both these teams will have good offenses. So I would feel safest on the over.
Real quick, just as we close out the show, good show. But as we close out the show, I'll just go. I'll do like a deep dive on this, like I always do, going into the game. But just and you give me the same. Give me a couple of your picks that you think that jump out to you on the board. I love the. I like Northwestern at home against Duke. I will hammer Texas. Remember that line? That Texas line was 5 this summer, and I loved it then. I love it even more now. I'm very excited to see that Georgia Tech Syracuse game. That'll just be interesting to me. So going through, I think Auburn first half and Auburn full game. I think that's a lock. Like, that is, dude. I hate to say this, but I might look up. Hold on, I'm gonna look up. I might. They don't have them listed yet, but I might have to fucking jump in on Peyton Thorne passing props.
Ugh.
That's a sentence I never thought I would say.
That's disgusting. It
is disgusting, but it might be worth it. Georgia plays Tennessee Tech. That's nothing this weekend. Not touching Iowa. Dude, here's an interesting line. How about Maryland being a 9.5-point favorite over Michigan State? That seems weird to me. But Michigan State also looked like shit in their first game. That's pretty much it. And then I'll close out by saying this. The Bama game is interesting to me because that's the game that turned everything around last year for Milroe. So that'll be kind of interesting. Here's another one for you. How about UCF as a 12.5-point first half favorite and 22-point full game favorites against Sam Houston State?
Yeah, that looks a little off to me.
It does, right?
Yeah, I was looking at that as well. What's another one here that looks pretty interesting to me? Arizona State, Mississippi State. I don't know that Arizona State's really built to just beat a SEC team by a touchdown. I mean, I know it's at home, but Arizona State looked actually decent last week. There's just not a lot of games that really jump off that kind of excite me this week outside of the ones we covered. So we'll see. Guys, don't forget to call the Angry Fans line. We will play more voicemails this week once we get more in the hopper. 770-674-8233. Again, if you're pissed, if you're happy, you want to talk some smack, you want to make fun of me for my team being awful, give us a call. 770-674.
You guys are off, right?
Thank God. Actually, I just realized as we're going through this that I will be missing the Tennessee and Nebraska games because I'm going to see Shane Gillis on Saturday night.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll have to record this because I definitely want to watch those and see what some of those teams look like. But yeah, I'm excited to see Shane Gillis, man.
So where's he at? Oh, he's like did he sign in Duluth?
Yeah, I think it's 2 nights.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah, he's killing it. Do you see him in the locker room too after the Notre Dame game?
Yeah.
I
love that he is on this story arc of it makes me, this is irrational and I don't care, and I'll get on a high horse saying it. it makes me so happy for comedy that he has had this ultimate comeback, because it was such a weird fucking thing that happened that like cost him his biggest break. And I just love the fact that it feels like he single-handedly swung the pendulum back of like, hey, like it's just fucking jokes, guys.
Yeah. I think why everybody loves him is he seems like a guy that would just hang out on this podcast with us and just talk like us. Like loves college football. He was like fired up to be playing the game. Like he's our age. I think he played college football at like Elon or something like that.
He played at West Point for 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, and shout out to Appalachian High School. We have to do this.
Shout out to Appalachian High School.
Yeah, to all the people that go there.
It's an odd thing to say, but yeah.
What do you want me to say? Thoughts and prayers?
I mean, no, that sounds way worse. I like what you said. Yeah, man. It just like we don't have to get into. It's so fucking disheartening, and I don't know.
14-year-old kid.
Fucking unreal, man. I don't. And then I didn't spend a lot of time on social media today, so I didn't see as much. I'm assuming that's why I didn't see as much. But it's like the worst part about this stuff is that it happens, and then the immediate thing that happens after that is people getting an agenda built off of it. And I tell you what, I did see this on Instagram. It's one of the saddest things I saw with it. We were in 7th grade when Columbine happened. You remember that?
Oh yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, I definitely remember that.
It was like the first time that happened, like on a huge scale in the United States, where it became national news, and then it has now become just the norm, and it's so disheartening and so sad. But I saw somebody comment on this on like Georgia Followers or ATL Scoop or whatever. The moment it was the very first comment that was made, Tyler, was, this is typical in an election year. They're just trying to blah, 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 like trying to distract us. And it's like, man, this fucking sucks. Like, are we not tired of this? Like, are we not, regardless of what fucking side you're on, are you not tired of this? Like, I'm not taking a stand against guns or saying like Democrats or Republicans, just in general. Like, is no one else fucking tired of this? This sucks. Like, this whole fucking thing sucks. It's just so, excuse my language, it's just so goddamn awful every fucking day to wake up in a society where it's like, this is all, it's just the norm. It's just what we fucking have become accustomed to. And then you just keep fucking scrolling and you see whatever else is on your timeline, because it's going to happen again in about a month. It's so fucking gross, man. I'm just so tired of it. Sorry.
Me too. Yeah, no, I get it, man. It's I feel like just negative news is just all you get. There's not a lot of positivity in the world these days. Let's cheer everybody up, Chris. You want to tell them a joke?
All right, I'll tell you a joke that I used to always say before every high school baseball game we played. There's 2 muffins in an oven.
Okay.
One muffin looks at the other muffin. He goes, God, it's hot in here. The other muffin looks at him and he goes, holy shit, a talking muffin.